Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you are doing well at your homes. Stay safe, protect yourself from COVID-19. So today we are meeting once again with a very interesting topic that is related with civil services examination. As many students have demanded that sir please prepare one video on UPSC. We want to know everything about UPSC. So if you want to know everything about UPSC, stay connected with me. I'm going to tell you each and every point related to UPSC. What is UPSC? What kind of exams are conducted by UPSC? What is civil services examination? And how civil service examination conduct their exams? What are its syllabus? What are the different eligibility criterias in civil services examinations? Everything we are going to discuss in this today's topic. So let's proceed. So the very first slide, it tells us about what is UPSC. So many of you are thinking that we know it. What is name in that? You only know the name of UPSC, or we can say the acronym. UPSC is the acronym of Union Public Service Commission. But you don't know when it is established. So it established on 1st October 1926 on the recommendation of the Royal Commission on the Superior Civil Services in India under the chairmanship of Lord Lee. Means UPSC, Union Public Service Commission's previous name was Superior Civil Services. After that it becomes Federal Public Service Commission under the Indian Government Act 1935. And after that, after independence, it renamed as Union Public Service Commission. It was also given a constitutional status under Articles 315 to 323 of Part 14 of the Constitution, titled as Services under the Union and States. Look here, we can point out. Here you can see Services under the Union and the States. The chairman of UPSC is appointed by whom? By the President of India. The President of India. So who is the current President of India? Honorable Shri Ramnathji Kovind. He is our current President. So we want to know about who is current chairman of UPSC. So Mr. Arvind Saxena, he is the current chairman of UPSC. He was appointed on 20th November 2018 by Honorable President Ramnath Kovind. You want to know who is the first chairman of UPSC? The first chairman of UPSC was Sir Ross Barker. The highest age limit for becoming a UPSC chairman is 65. Before 65, you can become a chairman of UPSC. If you are crossing the age limit of 65, you are ineligible for becoming the chairman of UPSC. So UPSC is a body which conducts various examinations throughout the year for the recruitment of top post of the countries. The major posts which we are seeing in the union territories and at central level, at national level, all that major post exams are conducted by UPSC. So let's move forward. So these are the exams which are conducted by UPSC. First one is Civil Service Exam, second is Indian Engineering Service Exam, third one is Indian Forest Service Exam, fourth Combined Defense Service Exam, Indian Economic Statistics, and so on. But specifically in this today's topic, we are going to discuss about Civil Services Examinations. Because most of the students are confused. They only know that we want to give UPSC and we want to become IS, IPS, IFS. But UPSC is a commission under which number of exams are conducted by it, and from that number of exam, one exam which is called as civil services examinations, which takes you towards becoming an IS, IPS or IFS officers. So today topic we are specifically discussing about civil services examination. So this is okay. So what is civil services examination? So civil services examination is one of the prestigious exam conducted by UPSC for recruiting candidates for various administrative and diplomatic posts in India, that is IS, IPS, IFS, Indian Administrative Services, Indian Police Services, Indian Forest Services, Indian Revenue Services, and number of services are there which after giving civil services examination you are eligible for that post. So this civil services examination is considered as one of the prestigious exams in our India. I would not like to say that it is the hardest exam because hard and tough, these two things are not there. Because whatever we want to achieve with a proper dedication, proper preparation, proper devotion, proper perspiration, we can achieve it. If you are saying that it is very tough, it is very hard, I am not going to study this much of syllabus, who will study it when I am going to crack it? This is not like that. There should be a passion among you, within you. There should be a burning desire within you that you want to become an IS IPS officer. Then and then only you are going to crack this exam. Okay, we are going to discuss further in this topic that how we are going to prepare for this exam. But before knowing how to prepare, first of all, we have to know what does this exam means and what it is there inside this exam. Okay, so let's move forward. So civil services exam pattern. So we all know, most of you might be not knowing. The students of first year, second year, they might be unaware about what is the civil services exam pattern. So civil services exam pattern. Civil services conducts its exam in three phases. First is prelims or CSAT. Second one is mains, and third is final, that is interview round or personality testing round. So let's see about prelims. Prelims, it is a kind of objective section, objective type exam. Multiple choice questions are given in prelims exam. Mains, it is subjective type exam where we have to write descriptive answers. And final interview, it is going to judge your personality, right? Who you are as a person. Are you eligible for the post you are desired? So all these things are judged in personality test. So I am proceeding towards civil services preliminary exam. So already I have told you it is an objective type of exam for the selection of candidates for main examination. Prelim consists of two objective type papers. Means the overall marking of prelims is of 400 marks. The maximum marks in prelims is 400. It is consists of two papers, each carrying 200 marks. And there is a negative marking. One third negative marking is there for every wrong answer. That will be deducted from your wrong answer. So this examination is meant to serve as a screening test only. What does it mean? It means this examination is only considered as your eligibility for giving main examination. Means you are eligible to give main examination. For each paper, there will be 2 hours duration. In that 2 hours, you have to write that paper, and your destiny will be decided further that whether you are going to give main examination or not. It is totally dependent upon this preliminary examination. Every candidate have to give preliminary examinations, failing to which he is not eligible for giving main examination. Okay, so let's move forward. So part A, prelims paper 1. It is of 200 marks, duration 2 hours. So what is the syllabus for prelims paper 1? Look, actually preparation of civil services examination is a continuous process. Unless and until you are cracking the exam, you have to go on preparing. Because if you left preparing in between only, then you are not able to cope up with what has been left, what has been completed. You're going to forget what you have read previously. So that's why it is called as a continuous process. So let's see about the syllabus which we are going to see for prelims paper 1. So the very first content we are going to discuss is current events of national and international importance. Current events of national and international importance. Basically, current events, why they are asking current events? To see whether the candidate or the aspirant is aware what is going around him. What is going around in India, in world, at a global level. So we should be aware about it. We should be aware about different aspects of the society. What are the things which are moving around? What are the things which are going around? What are the things which are happening? Like uh, COVID-19, the whole economy is crashed. We are moving we are going through the recession. And who knows that we are moving toward the depression also. So this is this time where the bunch of current events are happening. Bunch of current events we are having relating to COVID-19. And I am sure that in 2021 UPSC mains examination in essay paper, you are going to have one essay on COVID-19 also. 90% I am sure about it. Because in essay papers they are asking about the current events only. Most of the time they are asking about what is happening. Means current event related essays are given in the question paper. So national and international importance current events are necessary. So for this we have to read daily newspapers. We have to go through the magazines, monthly magazines. We have to go through different websites. Okay, we have to see the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha channels. From that also you can get um, many useful information relating to the current events of national and international importance. Second is history of India and Indian national movement. So already we all have learned many things from first standard to 10th standard in history. But most of you are from different backgrounds. Those who are having history in their graduation level also, at post graduation level also, they will think that that will be quite easier for them to prepare for this point. But it is not like that. If you have interest in history, you have interest in knowing what has happened in Akbar's era, in medieval uh, India, in ancient India, and in modern India. If you are interested to know all these facts relating in happen in history, so this is for you. Next one is Indian and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. When we are talking about geography, geography is only related. We think that geography is only related with the mountains, the rocks, okay, the water level, soil, only these things are related. But here for preparation of civil services examinations you have to look about physical, social, economical geography of India, and with that world also. Next point is Indian polity and governance. So Indian polity and governance, currently we are saying that e-governance is taking place in our country due to COVID-19. No one is able to meet each other, no one is able to conduct any kind of conferences or meetings so that they can discuss over the problems. So for discussing over the problems, various video conferencings are happening on different applications, are utilizing ICT based tools are utilized by various schools, colleges, government agencies, etc. So this kind of e-governance is happening. We are seeing, we are taking experience of all these things in nowadays. So this is what we have to learn in Indian polity and governance. We have to know about Indian constitution, different articles which are there in Indian constitutions. the political system, how the political system is there in our country. The Panchayat Raj, 2 days before only, our Prime Minister has talked with the Sarpanch of every village uh, through video conferencing. Uh, the quotation he quoted that in that video conferencing he quoted that the India has to be self-dependent. We are not going to be dependent on any other country. We have to be self-dependent. We have to be self-made so that we can fight with this kind of we can combat with this kind of viruses which are going to emerge in future also. So this is what we have to learn in Indian polity and governance because you have to relate each and every point which is related with Indian polity and governance, which is related with history of India and Indian national movement, which is related with the national and international importance of means all these questions which are going to come in prelims or mains they are interrelated with each other means whatever is going on currently do you find any footprints of them in the previous in the historical data which is available with us. So we have to find out it, we have to relate all these topics with each other and then we have to do our study. So next point is economic and social development, sustainable economic development, poverty, inclusion, demographic, social sector initiatives, etc. This point is related with the all the available human resources in our country. That is how economical development of the citizens is taking place in our country. How our country is growing economically. Uh, what are the measures taken by the Indian government for eradicating poverty from the country, or how we can remove poverty from the society, inclusion of deprived uh, classes of the society. We have to say about the demographics. We have to say about the social sector initiatives taken by the government, etc. Next point is general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity, and climate change that do not require subject specialization. Okay, so many of the students are having the environment paper at their school level, at their uh, plus two level. Also, you are having one project on environment, and in graduation also you are having one project on environment. So you can go through that notes. Also, you have proper idea relating to that only the thing you have to do is you have to revise all those things you have to read according to the syllabus and you have to relate this with the current situation how the climatic conditions are changing day by day now we are seeing we are living in Marathwada region of Maharashtra where the climate is very hot. Okay, so the climate is changing from 38 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius in the month of May. Also, we have experienced all those things. So there are water shortages also in most of the part of Vidarbha, Marathwada, uh, and the North Maharashtra regions. We have seen all those things, and so why these kind of things are happening? Why this kind of climatic changes are going on? So you have to study about it. You have to learn about it. All those things, and that you can relate with this levels. Okay, so we have found this kind of situation that too many bore wells, too many forest degradations are happening in the Marathwada region. So there is no greenery available. There are no mountains. So this is the reason why there is a shortage of rainfall. So due to which there is scarcity of water in Marathwada region. So all these things you can find the answers from your experience, from your own experience also. Whatever you are seeing what is going beside you, what is going in your surroundings. With all those things, you can extract the answers from that. You can extract the information from all those things which are happening around us. So UPSC is not meant for only reading books. It is also meant that how much the candidate is aware about what are the things which are going around him. Okay, so you have to look into your surroundings what is happening and you have to be aware about it. So this is all about. And the last point in prelims paper 1 is general sciences, the sciences which you have already learned till standard 10th, that molecular formulas of water is H2O. So these kind of things, what are different types of vitamins, that minerals are there, vitamins are there. So The carnivorous, herbivorous animals are there. So all these kind of science part one, science part two, all these kind of questions will be asked in general sciences. Okay, so let's proceed towards next slide, that is prelims paper 2. It is also of 200 marks, duration is 2 hours. Here in this paper you have to see about the comprehension, interpersonal skills including communication skills. Look friends, you already have learned English from your childhood, from most of you have learned it from started learning from fifth standard till now, till your graduation level also you are learning English language. In Most of you have started studying English from first standard. Some of you might be from English medium only. They are knowing it very well about what is the importance of communication skills in today's world. You all are knowing it because we are having two subjects related to communication skills. One is English communication, and second one is business communication for commerce background students. I'm specifically talking about. So here we have to see that comprehension, interpersonal skills, including communication skills. Second point is next point is logical reasoning and analytical ability. So we all think that how we are going to crack these things because we are from BA, we are from BCom, so we don't know about maths or reasoning or analytical ability. How we are going to crack? Look, friends, these type of questions are only asked. The level of this type of questions is up to only 10th standard. So we all have studied till 10th standard, mathematics, algebra, geometry, everything we know about it. Okay, only basic questions are asked over here. It is there to only judge your analytical mind, how you are logically solving the problems. So all these things are seen in this paper. Decision making and problem solving. So this kind of problem is also questions are also the decision making. Next is the general mental ability. So general mental ability questions are there. Next is basic numeracy, numbers and the relations. We all know that numbers are given and we have to find out this series, and all these kind of questions are asked. The level of all these questions are 10 standard only. Next is data interpretation, charts, graphs, tables, data sufficiency, etc. We have one chart or one graph is given. On the basis of that chart and that graph, we have to find out the answers. Five questions are there. We have to solve that questions and you have to find the answer relating to it. So here you can see that the paper one is totally based upon the general studies, where we have to study about economics, history, sciences, political science, governance, all these things we have to study in general studies. In prelims paper 2, it is totally your aptitude test called as CSET, a civil services aptitude test. So here in aptitude test, you have to go through with the some kind of mathematical solutions, some logical, some analytical, and some problems are related with comprehension, which is based upon English language, that is communication skill, interpersonal skills, etc. Okay, I hope you are getting that how this syllabus of the prelims is framed. This 400 marks, if you are cracking these two papers, then you are eligible for giving the main examination, because these papers are the base of giving civil services examination. So for starting preparation of the prelims or mains or civil services examination, one thing you have to keep in your mind, that you have to be aware about what is going on. Okay, so self awareness is very important for preparing these kind of exams. And nowadays I hope that you all are reading newspaper daily. If you are not having hard copy of newspaper, then at our college library website you are having links of e-newspapers. On our WhatsApp groups also we have circulated e-newspapers, so that student can get information from all over the world. And at your home also you can watch it on your television. Different applications are available in your mobile phones also. You can download the application of The Hindu. Okay, you can read the current event related to national and international importance, what is going on in different states of the country, what are the different editorial parts, what does the experts want to say about a particular topic. All these things you can learn from that newspapers. So you can have the Hindu, Indian Express, Times of India, Lok Satta, Lokmat, all these newspapers are there. Dainik Jagran, whichever newspaper you are expecting, you are wanting to read, that is available on the online platform. Just you have to do is you have to take your mobile or laptop and search it and get it downloaded in your mobile phone. So let's get started for preparing these kind of exams. Those who are seriously preparing for these exams, if they want to know anything else apart from these, said how they can gather the information or how they can prepare their notes, they can contact me on my WhatsApp number. So we are moving forward to the, so these are some instructions which already we have seen that paper one of the civil services preliminary examination will be qualifying paper with minimum qualifying marks fixed at 33%. Means paper two, that is CSAT, which we have already which we have just now discussed about the aptitude related comprehension, logical reasoning, communication skill, interpersonal skills. This paper is a kind of qualifying paper which in this paper you have to acquire at least 33%. Okay, because if you are getting 33% in this paper, then you are qualified. Why this kind of condition has been given for the second paper? It is because most of the aspirants of UPSC they started agitating that we are not from science background, we are not from engineering background, so it is not possible for us to solve that mathematical problems. We are from BA, we are from BComs, we are from other streams where we don't have any kind of contact with these subjects. So the UPSC decided to keep a criteria relating to this paper, and they told that at least you have to score only 33%. That is out of 200 marks. If you are scoring 66 or 70 marks also, then you are passing in paper 2, and in paper 1 there is there is no cutoff for this kind of, so you have to score maximum, and according to that when there will be consolidation of both these marks, the cutoff is prepared that whether you are eligible for giving the mains examination or not. So second one is the question will be of multiple choice objective. Yes, it is obvious. We have already seen it. Next is it is mandatory for candidate to appear in both the papers. Yes, it is mandatory. If you are giving paper one and you are absent for paper two, then you are not eligible for giving uh, the mains examination, and you are failed. In that case, you are failed only. But the attempt is considered. We are going to see in next slides that how many attempts are there, but the attempt is considered. So therefore you have to be cautious about it, that you have to give both the papers. Nowadays UPSC is come with a new facility to the aspirants that if the aspirants if the aspirant feel that he is not fully prepared and he don't want to give examination this year after filling the online application form, then UPSC giving them a chance to withdraw their forms. So it is also a good thing for the candidate, those who are preparing for civil services, so that you can save your attempt if you are not confident about giving this exam. Okay, so let's move. So now we are going to talk about civil services main examination. Just now we have seen about civil services prelims examination. So main examination is intended to assess the overall intellectual rights and depth of the understanding of candidates rather than merely the range of the information and memory. It carries total 1750 marks. 1750 marks are there in main examination. So what is all main examinations all about? Okay, prelims examination marks are not considered for your final result. They are merely one kind of screening test. Means they are going to screen you all, and from that they are going to select a few candidates, those who are performing well in their prelims, and they are eligible for giving the main examination. Here you can see that main examination is intended to assess the depth of knowledge of a candidate. Means its overall intellect is judged in this main examination. So that's why the very much importance is given to main examinations. Actually, all these three stages are important, but most of the time consuming series is related with main examination, where you have to study each and every topic in detail. But it should be within the frame of syllabus, which is already there on the UPSC website. So let's move forward. So, what is main syllabus? So, the written examination will consist of following papers. So, there are various papers in written examination. So, the first paper is it is kind of qualifying paper which is related with the languages. Okay. So, while preparing for civil service examinations, you have to be comfortable with any of our Indian languages. So let's say, for example, we are living in Maharashtra, so we should be comfortable in Marathi language. If someone is living in Karnataka, you should know about Kannada language. It is not compulsory that I am from Maharashtra, so I should give this paper A in. I should choose Marathi language only. I can choose Hindi in paper A, I can choose Hindi because here it is said that one of the Indian language to be selected by the candidate from the languages included in the 8th schedule to the constitution. One of the Indian languages. Whichever the language may be, only the thing is that you should be comfortable with that language so that you can write it down properly in UPSC mains. Second is paper B, that is English paper. Here you have to be very much comfortable with the English language. You have to write different comprehensions. You have to write, sorry, you have to write in English language such a manner that you should score a good marks in that paper. So you should know both the things, that is one of the Indian language and the English language. So why it is important to give these kind of papers? Look, in our constitution itself, it has been given that with one Indian language, English language will be there. So English is compulsory language all over the country. Wherever you are finding any kind of government affidavits or government notice or government form, you will see that if something is written that, for example, I am saying that one kind of form is you are taking from the tehsil or any kind of government offices, you will see that in place of name there will be naam, and below that there will be name. So you should be comfortable. Your posting will be anywhere in India. You are from Maharashtra and your posting will be in uh, Tamil Nadu. So at that time, you should be comfortable with English so that you can communicate with the mob in that places with English, and you can gradually learn the language of that place also. So for judging the capability of the candidate who will be comfortable in any Indian languages, so these kind of papers are required. So while choosing any Indian languages, I will prefer that you should choose your mother tongue, so that it will be easy for you to express your views, your thoughts in your mother tongue. And the next part is English, that you have to do practice, practice, and practice. So let's papers to be counted for merit. So these are the papers to be counted for merit. The papers which you have seen before, that is one Indian language and English paper. That paper marks are also not counted for the mains examination. But if you are not passing in that papers of Indian language and English, then the papers which are counted for merit, they are not going to be assessed. So for bringing your paper for assessment, you have to be score good marks in that Indian language and English paper. Okay, so that paper is also called as one kind of screening paper only. And now we are going to see the main syllabus where most of the students having their focus. So the paper one is of essay writing is there. So here you can choose any language to write the paper. If you are feeling comfortable with Marathi, so you can choose Marathi for mains examinations. While filling the application itself, you have to write that the medium of writing answer will be. So it should be English or Marathi, Hindi, Gujarati, whatever it may be. Sorry, it should be English, it should be Hindi, Marathi. So whatever languages you are choosing, you have to be very precise for that. So here the essay paper, it is of 250 marks. So total 250 marks essay paper is there. Essays are given. You have to write. You have to express your opinions, your views, your thoughts relating to it. Second paper is of general studies. It is also of 250 marks. Indian heritage, culture, history, geography of world and society. Third paper, it is also of general studies. 250 marks, governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relations. Fourth paper is also of general studies, technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security, disaster management. Fifth paper is also of general studies, 250 marks, ethics, integrity and aptitude. Here you can see that there are four papers which belongs to general studies. Four papers are of general studies. Means whatever syllabus you have seen for prelims general studies paper, uh, the majority part of it we can see in the mains general studies paper. Only the thing is that there you have to give answer in objective type and multiple choice questions. Here you have to write it in descriptive forms. So this is what the syllabus is, and here in main examination, the very most important thing that we have to know about is of selecting the optional papers. So, having a commerce background, if I am comfortable with commerce and accountancy, then I will choose commerce and accountancy as my optional. If you think that there is history subject is available, geography subject is available in general studies also, then why to study repeatedly for two different subjects instead of we can study for history in general studies paper 1 and history once again in optional subject also, then you can go for it. Only the thing is that you should think about while choosing the optional subject, because optional subject plays a very vital role, because in that optional subject you have your knowledge is assessed at in depth level only, because they are expecting something different from you relating to that subject. There are two papers of optional subject, paper 1, paper 2. Here is paper 6 and paper 7. Okay. So they both are carrying 250 marks. So if I am a commerce, I am from commerce background. So I think that I am comfortable with commerce and accountancy. I will choose commerce and accountancy as my optional subject. There will be different subject in that commerce and accountancy title, and I have to go through that syllabus and I have to study all those subjects and I have to give this exam. So here you can see four general studies paper, two optional paper and one essay paper. So all these marks, if you are counting, that total marks comes out is 1750, 1750. Okay. So here you might be thinking that syllabus is looking quite interesting. Okay, some might be thinking that it is so vast syllabus when we are going to study it. Look, friends, if you are really aspiring to become an IAS, IPS officer, then you have to study all these things, because an officer which is going to handle a whole district, he should be full-fledged in knowledge. He should know everything. If your posting is some borderline area, then you should know what is happening over there, what are the geographical conditions, what is the historical background in that place. You should know about it. Okay, what is the political background in that place? So all these things must be known by that officer, so that officer will be comfortable while doing his job in that places. So that's why they are asking all these things, that you should learn it, you should read it, you should grasp it, you should analyze it, and then you should write the paper. So this is all about UPSC mains exam. So we are moving forward towards the interview or the personality test. So interview personality test, it carries 275 marks. Okay. So when the candidate cracking the mains examination or is qualifying the main examination, then they are called for the interview. Look, every year there is a notification of UPSC for 1000 different posts through civil services examinations. This year there are somewhat 798 posts are there through UPSC. They are going to fill up through civil services examination. They are going to fill up. So every year these kind of notifications are there. Every year lakhs of aspirants are applying for that. If you are qualifying prelims, you are qualifying mains, you are called for interview. In interview, if you are failing out, then you have to prepare this examination from the beginning. Means again you have to give prelims, again you have to give mains, and then you are called for interview. So you have to be very much careful about your personality test. You have to groom yourself from now onwards. You have to improve your communication skill, how to speak, how to talk with the people, how to respond to the questions, how to give answers relating to questions, how to be confident in front of the panel. All these things which is related with your personality are judged in this exam. This personality test or interview is not meant for judging your knowledge relating to history, geography, and all. This is all about how you are. Are you eligible for this post? Are you capable for of handling this kind of responsibilities under pressure? How you are working? All these things are judged in this personality test. Okay, so any kind of doubt relating to it, once again, I am telling you that you can WhatsApp me, you can ask me relating to any kind of stages, that is prelims, mains, or this personality test. Okay, so let's move forward. So wow, that's great. We know everything about it. We know what is prelims all about. We know what is mains all about. What are its syllabus. Then now the question arises how to apply for it and what are the eligibility criteria for giving civil services examination. So it is quite simple. You have to go to the website www.upsconline.nic.in. On that website, if you are going on that website, you will have the to the 2020 exam notification also available on that website. You will have a detailed syllabus in that notification. Each and every point is been covered in that PDF file. Just go through it and read each and everything from the PDF file. Okay. Every year in the month of February, there will be notification, and your prelims exam will be in the month of May. So be aware. Okay. So these are the eligibility criteria and age limit. The main basic eligibility for giving this exam is that you should be a graduate. Okay. Mere graduation is sufficient for giving this exam. So he or she must be graduate from any recognized university. He she must have attained 21 years of age and not have attained 32 years of age. So, okay. So you should be, the minimum age is 21 and maximum is 32. So according to different categories, here we can see what is the maximum age limit for giving civil services examination. So for general category, we can see here that maximum age limit is 32 years of age. Okay, means till 32 years of age, a person from a candidate from general category can give civil services examination. For OBC, it is 35, means maximum it is 32, but plus 3 years relaxation is given for OBC category. Means till at the age of 35 years, they can give the exam. For SC ST, it is 5 years of relaxation, means 32 plus 5, that is 37 years. They can give exam till they attain the age of 37 years. So this is related with eligibility criteria and age limit. So now we are going to see about number of attempts. So how many attempts are available for different categories? So for general category, it is 6 attempts. Okay. For OBC, there are 9 attempts. For SC and ST, there is no limit. Okay, unlimited attempts are available for SC and ST. So general category candidates, they can crack this exam within these 6 attempts. Most of the candidates are desiring that they should crack the exam in first attempt itself. So I would like to suggest you all that don't wait for the first attempt, but don't wait to crack on the exam in first attempt only, because there is age limit also. If you are attaining your age of 32 years, look, there are six attempts are given to you. And if you are in your age of 28 and still you have not given any attempt, then you can start giving your attempts, so that you are able to know that where you are getting wrong, how much study is remaining, how you have to do, how you have to rectify your uh, errors from the exam. So all these things you can do, because from 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 5 attempts you are getting in that time. So you should try giving all these things, because if you have decided to become an officer, then you have to start doing it, because unless you are not going to do anything, how you are going to become an officer. Second one is, oh, for OBC there are 9 attempts, so they should also try to give the exams. SC/ST there are unlimited attempts, so I urge to all those students, those who are preparing for civil services examination, they start preparing. They start their preparation from now onwards. If you are in BCom first year, or you are at your plus two level, then from there only you can start daily. You have to devote only 2 or 3 hours for preparing all these things. And at the time of your graduation, after completion of a graduation, you can easily crack these kind of exams, because we are having example in past also that most of the aspirants have cracked the exam at the age of 21 years only. Okay, so I hope this information is very helpful for all of you. So then the question arises, how to prepare for a civil services examination. Look, friends, so many books are there. You have to read. You have to read various books relating to it. But the only suggestion I would like to give you is that you have to stick with whatever material you have chosen. Once you have to fix, let it be. You take your own time. Sit at home just now. In today's condition, we all are sitting at home only. Sit at your home. Decide. Go to different websites. There are different online tutorial websites are also available, like an academy. isportal.com. So this kind of Byju's I is also there. So this kind of online portal are also available. Search their websites, explore all those things which are available. Go through it. Just see interviews of the passed out candidates. Listen them what they have done. Learn from them. So there are various material is available online nowadays, so you can go through all these things for cracking this exam. And if you didn't get a proper answer from anyone, then I am there to help you out. In next video I will tell you how to prepare for civil services examination by doing self study, by joining classes, or by doing job, or while doing job also you can prepare the civil services examination or not. And how to manage your time. Okay, then how to study, how much to study. This is most important. When we are talking about how to study, we should know that how much to study means, what are the most important thing that we have to take from the NCRTs or the different reference books, how to prepare our own notes. This is what we are talking all about inside the classes, that you have to write down something, you have to prepare your own notes, so that it will help you to prepare, that will help you to make preparation of these kind of examinations also. So this is also very important. Look, if you are having a will, someone has told us there is a will, there is a way. If you are having a will to do something, to achieve something in life, then definitely you are going to crack this exam. So those who are trying to prepare, those who are willing to prepare, not trying, those who are willing to prepare for this exam, do WhatsApp me, to call me. You can ask any kind of your queries relating to the exams. In next video, we are going to see about how we are going to crack this exam, how we are going to prepare for this exam, what are the different reference materials. I'm going to show you the question paper, also the screenshots of question paper related to commerce and management, and sorry, commerce and accountancy, and different geography, history, political science question papers will be also be shown in next video. So stay tuned to my channels. I will try to give every Sunday. I will try to give one. I will try to prepare one video on this type of competitive examination, so that simultaneously with your studies, with your academics, you can develop a knowledge related to competitive exams also. How to prepare for these exams, and what are the different ways that we can crack this exam. So be safe, stay at your home only, follow all the rules given by the government and local bodies. Try to keep your family and your locality safe. Thank you. And one more information I would like to share is that in next video I am going to prepare relating to how to prepare UPSC civil services. This is sure. This video will come. But the information related to SETNET exams also we are going to see in coming videos. So thank you all for watching this video. Thank you.